Okay, students, now I'm going to go over some of the editing that we are going to do on our photos. Now, this is just basic photo editing. I'm not actually going to have you do any photo editing in Photoshop. I'm going to have you do them in a program called Camera Raw. And it's kind of a nice program. It's non-destructive, meaning it's not actually changing pixels. It just remembers commands that you make about photos. So I'm going to show you just the basics first, and then I'll make a second video to show you some of the other things that it does. So first I want to go in here and I want to look at some photos. I'm going to start with flowers. First I want to look for photos that are good photos. So although I like the colors in this picture, really the focus isn't where it should be. The focus should be right here. That's my main point of interest. It's actually back here. Not that there isn't an area of focus, it's just the wrong area. So I have another one that I'm going to go to. I'll try that one. So I click on, I don't know whether you caught that, I'm going to click on this button up here. It looks like a little aperture in a camera, and that's Camera Raw. I'm in my basics area, which is this button up here, basics. All these do something different, but I'm only going to go over the basics. Number one, first thing you need to know is everything that you do here applies to the entire photograph. There are other things that you can do to edit specific areas of a photograph, but this one's going to take care of my whole picture. So first of all, exposure. I'm going to explain what they are. Exposure is the lightness and darkness of an entire image. Contrast, and you can sort of see that on the bar here too. So exposure, if it's dark, it's going to be really dark, okay? I'm going to set this back to 0. Contrast is the amount of grays that are in your photo. So it'll either, take all the black and white feeling out of it or make it a little bit more grayish looking. Highlights finds all the highlights in your images and lightens the highlights or darkens the highlights. So you can just sort of see it go in either direction. Okay. I'm actually going to make some of these as I'm going along because I want to brighten it up a little. I don't do a whole lot. I mean, if your pictures are good, you might not even need to do anything to it. Shadows, then we'll find all the shadows in your photograph and it'll either lighten your shadows up or it'll darken your shadows up. I am actually going to pull the shadows up because I kind of like what it's doing in this area. I like the texture on that flower, so I'm going to brighten my shadows, but I'm going to boost my contrast up then too, so it's not too overly gray. Whites, it'll find anything that identifies as white, so anything where you can see white areas and make them whiter, or it will make your whites grayer. I don't really do a whole lot with that one. Sometimes I'll boost a little bit. Blacks, same thing. It either makes your blacks darker or makes them lighter. Oops. Okay, clarity is the overall sort of punchiness of the image. It's very obvious when I pull the clarity down. It makes it really soft. I don't know of any reason why you would really ever want to pull clarity down like that on an entire picture. Some people like to push their clarity up. I do a little bit. It sort of gives the photograph this a little bit more of a grungier feel. You don't want to overdo it because then it looks too fake. But I do like a little bit of clarity push in mine. Saturation will saturate your bright colors. So anything that's already bright, it's going to make it look even more intense. And vibrance sort of takes the grayish colors in the image and sort of brightens them up a little bit without touching some of the brighter ones. You got to be careful with that. That'll make your photos look a little fake if you push it too much. So I just moved some of these a little bit, and so you can sort of see some of the changes that I made. Here it is as a whole picture. And that's it. So those are my basic edits. So when I'm finished with that, I don't want to hit cancel. I just want to hit done. Open image will actually physically open it up in Photoshop, which we're not going to do right now. I just want to click done, and I want you to see this. So when I've made edits over a photo, this will appear on the corner so you know that it has been edited. Okay? And that's the basic edits.